Tadpole Smitty back at Tadpole Smitty's garage. Today, we're going to try a 20 by 2.0 tire on the back of my mother's Eco Tad SX. It comes with a 1.5. The tire is much too small for my mother. Where she rides is kind of sandy, so that little tire is just slipping like crazy. So we're going to try to put this big 2.0 where 1.5 goes. Might have to do some modifications to the rear fender. Let's see what I can do for y'all. If you're interested in doing it yourself, this might be the ticket. First thing you're going to need is an 18 millimeter wrench to pull the hub bolts off. Got to loosen these up over here. This one you're going to have to use the open end. Just want to loosen them up a little bit. Not very far, just a little bit. Go ahead and put the box in on this side. You just break it loose. Don't take it off yet, because we've got to jack the rear of the tire up. Calling Dr. Smitty to the emergency room.
Security to the...
Okay, what you'll need is a maintenance stand. Just made this one at home. I just need something to set the trike up on.
Code blue.
I'm going to go ahead and take this nut all the way off. Not all the way off, just loose. Until the keeper can come out. This keeper's slotted. Remember where it goes. You also note that there's how this comes apart. This side as well. Just remember where they go. This has to come off because the this piece isn't slotted. It's got to come off the axle. Drop the rear tire out. Pretty wild. That's fits on there one way. I like to put the nuts back on things, the bolts and nuts back into their respective pieces, so you don't lose them and you know how they go. All right. Got to remember how this one goes. It's slotted to the inside, which doesn't make any sense to me. That don't seem right, but we'll see. Then we got to go over to this side and swing the derailleur around, get the chain out of the way, get the wheel out of the way off the derailleur. Derailleur's really wanting to bind up in here. And we got to cut this off because I got to unplug that wire to the center of the axle. Right here. Just like that. Cool. Work the tire down and out. Off the derailleur. Chain. For as small as this tire is, it's hard to work with. It's just really a bummer. I need to be up a little higher, I think. Well, that motor's heavy. I don't know how much these motors weigh, but ooh, they're heavy. Gotta let the air out of this tire. Let's get Schrader valve out. Get that Schrader valve out. Keep it clean. Okay, let's go break down this tire and put that big one on and see if I can get this fender to fit. Okay, let's get this shop light down here on this tire. Okay, I'll take this tire apart. I don't know if you guys have seen this tire tool. These are pretty cool. I bought it off Amazon. It's got a picture of a gorilla on the front. I can't read what it says. Can't see. True tensioner. True tension. TRU tension. TENSION. It's got a monkey on the front of it. Anyway, these work really well. Let's take this tire apart. I like these. You just run it around. Voila. Take this tube out. Boy, these little tires are a little bit harder to work with. They're tiny. Tiny little tires, I tell you. Kenda tube comes stock in this thing. So you want to remember how this tire comes off. It's directional, I believe. Yeah, it is. It has an arrow. So this is the drive side, so the arrow is going that way. Let's look at the difference in size of these two tires. How much bigger that tire is. Ooh. Hope it works. It's gonna work. I'll make it work. Milwaukee commercial. This is great stuff. It's aluminum polish. I always buy this. A tube will last you 1,000 years. They make a polish and they make a buffer. I think there's a red one and a blue one. This is great for mag wheels, aluminum. So now's a good time to clean your rim. You want to polish where the rag turns black. Like right here. The blacker it gets, the better it polishes. Clean everything. Clean your spokes. Check your spokes. I'm going to check each one of these stars that go into the motor. Make sure they're tight. It's a good time to check things. Make sure everything looks good. Chain's pretty clean. Bike's pretty much brand new. I think when I got it from my mom, it had 13 miles on it, and I think I put 25, 30 miles on it. So everything's pretty clean, but now's a good time to clean everything. You know, electrotrike.com builds their own rear hubs. That's all they use there. These are built in-house and laced in-house. Lacing means the spokes being put into the hub. The Liberty trike also uses the same hubs. This is a high torque little motor. A really good setup on the. You can take an Eco Tad SX. It's a very inexpensive trike, probably the least inexpensive trike on the market. That's well built. I'm sure there's cheaper crap out there, but the Sunseeker's been around since the 70s. I don't know when they came out with a Tadpole, but they've been building bikes a long time. You don't stay in business that long and not have a following. And they're a price leader. Is it a cat or an ice? No, but you can buy 2 of these Eco Tads for what a villager cost, a cat villager, basic, standard. So you can buy an Eco Tad and put a motor on the back like this, or, you know, whatever you want, and still be less money than, you can put a roll-off hub, you could do all sorts of crap on these things. So it's just an entry-level trike that saves you a ton of money. I think they're, without a motor, they're under 1,500 bucks. So you put an electric motor on it, and it, you know, it gets up there fairly quick, but you're still way cheaper than one of those expensive brands like a Cat or an Ice, or one of those Azibs with an electric motor. It's an entry level that gets you started into the world of triking. I definitely would get one with an e-assist. I wouldn't buy one without it, especially if you're older like me and have medical issues. Anyway, I think that's clean enough for government work. I think my mom will appreciate that. Oh, you want to check the elastic band that goes through here that covers the end of the spokes. If this is loose or come apart, be sure to fix it, because your tube, you don't want them rubbing on the head of the spokes that come through from the other side. It'll wear a hole in your tube and get a flat. Pinch the tube. So I'm really hoping I can get this big tire on the back of my mom's trike, because it's sandy down there where she lives, and she just, those little tires, those little naked tires that they send stock are just too small and too hard to work with. I really like this tool. Get that first bead on there. Now we need to find the hole for the stem. So we can put the tube back in it. These tubes go from 1.50 all the way up to 2-inch. Actually, this is 1.75, so I'm going to have to use a bigger tube. I have one on my tear trike. So most of the tubes you buy are going to cover the whole range. These don't. So I've got to use a bigger tube. You can see it right there. So this isn't rated for the tire I'm making, so I got to use another tube. So this is a slime tube. It has slime already pre-filled in it. That's what I use. You get them at Walmart for cheap. It's just extra protection, but it's going to come with a green cap. You need to start it, and then as soon as we start it, we're going to put a little air in it, just a little bit of air. And it makes it a little easier to deal with. Plenty of videos on this out there, so you know, don't freak out on this too much. My tire little hand pump I took off my tear trike. I need to get my mom a pump. She'll never really ride alone, so my brother will be with her, or I will be with her. But you want to test your pumps every once in a while to make sure they're operational. I will use a shop hand pump to put the amount of pressure I want in there. I usually go with about 50 pounds. Probably enough right there. Just a little bit of air. Just work that tube in there. These slime tubes are kind of nice. They're just gives you a little extra. Some people don't like slime. I like it. I live in Goat Head City around here. I usually set it up right off the valve. I work on a wooden bench so it doesn't scald up stuff. Okay, I'm going to let just a tiny bit of air out. Not a lot. I don't want to pinch that I don't want to pinch that. How do I use this? I forgot. Oh, it goes in there like this. See, it goes in there like that and it just flips over. Keeping this valve stem straight, you just run this around like that. Pretty sweet. Make sure that these inner tubes shipped in the mail, so they're kind of wadded up in a ball when you get them. You gotta, I don't know, they're all done that way, so that's the way they all come. Let me get my shop. You want to make sure you read the range of pressure. This tire is actually less than the other one. This one's 30 to 50 psi, so I'm going to run it up to 45 pounds. In sand down there where my mom's riding, we can let a little air out. We'll see how that works for her. Yeah, this stock tire, this little road tire that came off, was went up to 65 pounds, and this tire is much stiffer, the sidewall and everything, than it is on this. This is more of an off-road knobby tire, so it's softer, won't last as long, the resistance, rolling resistance. This is a much stiffer tire. This is a Kenda. It's a good tire, but it's just too small for my mom, so I think she'll be happier with an off-road tire where she's going to be riding this trike. Okay, little shop pump I have, a little hand pump. Gotta get that stem up a little higher. Make sure that the linear tube is sticking out, and we're going to put a little bit of air in it. Just to check it again. So I'm doing this up here so you can see. Normally I do this on the ground. Just want to make sure there's no pinch. Probably put a little too much air in there to check that. It's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my pressure on. It's already got 5 pounds of air in it. I'm going to check this valve stem to make sure it's straight. I'm going to put 45 in it because I ride mostly on pavement. I got about a mile of dirt road that I go out of to get down to the pavement to my trails. Once I get it down to my mom's house, I'll let some air out, probably run it 35 pounds or maybe 40 pounds, see how that does for her. The less pressure you have, the better it's going to grip in those conditions, those sandy conditions. You air down for sandy. There you go. Now, oh, I also mentioned, I think I mentioned the direction, right? So this is the hub side. Tire's going to go that way, and you got to make sure the arrows for rotation go in the right. With some tires are unidirectional, these are directional. I want to tighten this Allen screw down a little bit because it's kind of loose, and I'm going to put some Loctite on it. Just a little bit of Loctite, just a little bit. Medium duty, nothing heavy duty. Run it down in there. Decided to go ahead and take these screws out so I can rotate this fender up, make sure that tire is going to clear this on this axis, because when I go back on I can always it's attached at the front up here, so that's where if I need to pivot the fender up I can loosen these up and swing this fender up a little bit to clear the tire. Hopefully this is going to work. Let's find out real quick. These weren't real tight anyway. See what I mean? I can pick that up and cinch that nut down right there. Boy, that derailleur's right up against that bolt. Son of a gun. It's crazy. And put some Loctite on that too. What I like to do here is snug this down a little bit, just a tiny bit, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I like to put the trike down on the ground before I bolt everything up to make sure it's seated in place. So let's do that. Got to make sure it's seated. So what I'm going to do now is loosen it back up. I'm going to loosen this all back up real quick. 18 millimeter, just to make sure it's up in the all the way in itself. See, it walked up a little bit there. Okay, it's in, so now I'm going to tighten it. Does that look good? Is that up where it belongs? Yeah. Okay, now I got to set this fender up higher. The way you do that is you loosen these two bolts right here. This fender set is I can pick it up by the back of the fender with these two bolts right here. This nut screw and the one on the other side. And it's a Phillips. And we can pick it up until it clears the top of that tire at the nearest location. Okay, so let's try that. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I'm going to have to bend these stays and make them more straight. clearance in here is a little narrow. So what I'm going to do is try to bend this out a little bit like this. Grab it down here and pull it so it flexes. Oh yeah, that helped. I'm gonna do them both same time. I need my brother Alan here. He's not stronger than me. I'm gonna stand up to do this. What I'm doing is pulling the corner of these stays away from the knobby. Okay, that looks better. Okay. Okay, that's all the way down the bottom gear. Run through these gears real quick. Okay, looks good. Let's put everything back together, the wiring and the shit. It's not hitting the fender. Put some weight on it, see how that boot back on that. Over that nut. And then you plug this back in. You line these up with the arrows. Can't find the other side. Where is it? Right. Son of a pitch. I think it's right there. Yeah, they got this side marked real well. This side you can see, but barely. There you go. And then I've got to wire tie that back up. These wire ties back around here.
Code blue. Security to the ER.
I only cut one off. I'm putting two back on. That's just the way I like it. You don't have to. You can just put it back to where the factory was, but I figure two's better than one on this aspect. There you go, that's it right there. You can also use an impact hammer, just ever slightly. Just set that. Because that screw is going to want to come loose because it's got tension on it. And I don't know why. If this doesn't work out, I'll have to put a bolt in here with a... That's all it took. Just a little hit, just to lock that down with a little Loctite. Let's go around and check everything. Make sure I got everything seated up in there good. It looks good. I got to put this bolt on the over here. I got to put that nut on there, right there. That is a lock. This is a lock nut. Nylock it's called. So you don't need to put Loctite on that. Okay. Let me just tighten that down. Gotta go pretty tight on this one. You don't want this coming loose. You don't want nothing coming loose. Back here on your drivetrain, it's all got to be tight. Now you do this at your own risk. If it don't work for you, don't put the fender on. But it worked for me. What you could do is they sell lengtheners that go on these. I guess you cut these. They're meant to go in the end, but they won't work on this. So what you could do is buy those lengtheners and cut this and put the lengthener in here. Or you could cut this, and I have a welder. I could lengthen these with a welder, but it's clearing. Got plenty of room. So let's go for a test ride. See how this bad boy lights it up. Gloves off. These are heavy 7mm gloves. These are great for mechanicing. You get them at anywhere, any hardware store. They make you sweat, but when you're working on oily chains and stuff, that's perfect. Anyway, I'm going to bring the trike out here, and let's take a one walk around and make sure I didn't miss anything, and let's go for a test ride. Okay, let's go for a test ride. See how it works. I did note when I pulled apart this rear axle, this washer was flipped around backwards, the one that's slotted that goes up into the channel, so it wasn't engaging correctly. So human error, it happens. That's why I tell you people that do maintenance on your bikes, get to know your trike yourself. Check things. Just look at it. Get in the little square that I've done the maintenance videos on how to do QC and QA on your bike, on your trike, and get down into a little window and start looking at things and start digesting. And then people will write in and make comments, might correct something that I do or don't do. But you find things that way. Anyway, this is what it looks like with the biggest knobby you can put on this rim is a 2-inch 2.0 20 by 2.0. That's the biggest that will go on this stock rim. They make them bigger, but you'd have to get a bigger rim, and I don't know. I don't think you would clearance up in here. I only have less than 1/4 of an inch. It has clearance for these, but nothing bigger. I don't think you can put anything bigger. You can. You'd have to put extenders on the dropouts, extension plates, aftermarket. And then you could go up to a 26-inch tire on the back of this thing if you want. Of course, you'd have to relace a hub, and you get into some money doing that. But it can be done. So anyway, let's go try this bad boy out. I'm gonna keep it in the neighborhood in case I tear something up when I get home. Anyway, let's start this bad boy up. These shoes are not what I wanted. These Skechers don't fit your pedal restraints worth a darn. They're too fat on the heel. Once you get them in there, they're really tight. All right, let's do this. I'm in zero right now, so So far, so good. And hear that knobby kicking up rocks into the fender. I'm not using the assist. Putting a lot of torque on it myself to see if anything's gonna flex. Torque is what flexes any trike, any velomobile, any delta, any bicycle. The more rigid, the less flex. So when you apply your maximum amount of power to the front ring gear, that's where it's gonna flex. So if you were gonna have any issues, that's probably where you would detect it. On the way back, I'm gonna use the motor. Gotta watch these arroyos. I was bringing my son home from school today, and there was a major flash flood on the river that I ride on. The river, Santa Fe River Trail, had a major flash flood going on. It wasn't even raining here, it was raining up in the mountains. I hope nobody got caught up into that, because it would have killed them. It would have drowned them. And that's 20-30 miles that way. I mean, it was a gully washer. Well, I'm using the motor now. Let's kick this all the way up in the 7th gear. And let's use the throttle. Well, so far so good. I guess we'll do a long-term test, let you all know, but right now I'm on a call. You can put a 2.0 on the back of a Eco Tad with factory fenders on it, Sunseeker fenders. The front's going to be a different story. And I don't know if she needs them on the front. It's the back that was spinning out where the hub's at. So I'm going to let her try it this way for a while before we start trying to figure out how to do the front. Because those fender stays are, they would have to be bent. You can see them right there. The fender stays are awful close to those tires. I think electrictrike.com sent me a note, said you go to 1.75 and clear the fenders. I think that's what they said. You could always reach out to them and ask. If you're going to go any bigger than that, I think you're going to have to modify the fender stays. Pick them up, straighten them out or something. If anybody's out there has done bigger tires on the front with fenders, put comments in so I can let our viewers know. These are tiny little 1.50, tiny little tires. Anyway, folks, I'm going to call that good. If there's any updates that I need to tell you about it, I'll let you know. I think I want to go for another ride. Enjoying this. Anyway, folks, that's Tadpole Smitty's Garage. Doing a little maintenance tips for you on the Eco Tad SX, running a 2.0 tire on the rear with a fender. Until next time, folks, have a good ride.